Hey, welcome back to Bankrupt Acres. It's a Friday, and if you can see behind me, they're putting the siding on our house. We already got the roof done, so kind of exciting. We're happy to get to this stage. Seems to be going quick. The wind is still starting to pick up again today. It's been really windy this fall, so it's kind of delayed us a few days getting the tin on, but they managed yesterday on the roof, and I think it's going to be okay to get hopefully they'll get a majority of the siding done today. They're moving quick. So I think it's like 10:30 a.m. and they're already pretty much 3/4 way down one of the 100-foot walls. So, but we have another project today. I'll go ahead and flip the camera around here if I can. Let me see. So my wife bought an old cast iron sink at a flea market, and we're going to try and restore it. So we'll set you up on the camera and kind of watch this process. It'll be a little different than what we've done in the past, but I got this I don't even know how you say it, Ecopel roll-on tub kind of refinishing kit. 2-part epoxy. It has a base coat and also a final coat in white. So it's going in our shop bathroom. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we have done a lot of scrubbing and it's not going to come off. So we're going to have to recoat this. There's a few nicks in it, but I just may leave those for character. So we finally got the drain out with the help of my nephew. That was pretty well rusted in there. So we're going to try and clean all that up. I got a few tools and I'm going to put on the drill, see if we can get that knocked out. Once we clean it up, we got to, we'll probably wipe it down with a, pre-paint, what am I trying to say? Alcohol wipes, and then we'll get spray paint in the bottom, and then we'll do the epoxy on the top when it gets warmer this afternoon. So that's the plan now, and we'll see how this goes. So now, I don't know if you can see here, I'm going to try and take a little wire brush on a drill and try and clean up this metal part of the drain. I don't want to get too deep into the epoxy, so I'm going to try and be careful, but I want to make sure we can get a good seal when we do put the new drain back in. So, and maybe I don't need to be that particular about it, but I want to try and get it as good as we can. I think we've worked on this quite a bit off camera, so I think we're about where we're going to be for getting it all sanded and prepped. Hopefully that epoxy will seal all this surface rust in and it'll look like new. But if not, we're out about 15 bucks. Well, plus the cost of this kit. So I guess a little more than that, 115 bucks. So that's where we're at. Let's continue on. We picked this day to do it because it's a gorgeous day. It's going to be almost 70 today. Pretty strange for November. So hopefully I can get this project done today. I don't know if you can see it. We'll see how this works. Well, it's not taking off a lot of it. So that epoxy is supposed to be self-leveling, so hopefully it'll smooth out some of these areas here in the drain. All right, I'm going to vacuum that up a little bit. All right, now I'm going to turn this over. That's going to be the hard part. This thing is heavy, heavy, heavy. I got you guys out of focus now. All right, let's try and clean this up a little bit, and we're just going to spray paint the bottom.
Well, I'm not taking off as much as I thought I would, but
it is getting a little better. And again, I've got a primer, a metal primer, spray paint, and final coat all in one. So again, we're just wanting it black on the bottom. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I know you think I'm doing it wrong, Kit Kat. But so we'll just, we'll go ahead and hopefully seal it so it's not going to rust anymore. So if I'm reading this right, there's a stamp on here. It says 2/7/16. So February 7th, 1916. Can anyone confirm that that's correct? So I'm going to move you over here. All right. So I got some of this pre-clean. Got my gloves on. I should have probably had a respirator on when I was doing that, so don't harass me about that in the comments. I'm a bad boy, I know that. So I'm going to clean this, and then I think I'm going to tape up. I'll have to go in and get some masking tape. We're going to tape up the drain so I don't want to go through to the porcelain on the inside. I know this isn't going to be perfect. I just want to get as much stuff off as I can. This cast iron is so rough it's tearing the paper here, paper towel. So I'm probably gonna go get the blower and just kind of blow off all the remnants. But hopefully this will take off a little bit of the grease and grime over the past 100 years. Again, we're not going for awards. It's lasted this long. I'm sure it'll last a little longer. All right, let's put this over here. Let's go get our blower. Okay, hopefully you can still hear me. We got our cheap Hercules blower that's been pretty good. Okay, let's go get some tape. What kick out? All right, I got the drain covered from the inside. I'm just gonna take some tape. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. Just trying to keep it from going on the porcelain. Okay. Okay, got that slid off. So Rust-Oleum matte paint and primer in one. Any surface, wood, metal, plastic. Hope I got enough. I only bought one can. So let's see how this does. Get that out of the way. A little windy today. Well, I forgot these two holes over here to tape up. I will try and do that. got a little drip there. Okay, we'll take you around. So that's first coat. We'll wait, I don't know, a few minutes here, 15 minutes, and we'll put on the second coat. Someone's an idiot. I taped up the other hole for the drain, but I forgot about that one. So hopefully I can wipe off or polish off anything on the enamel on the inside. So again, this is the bottom of a sink, which you will never see, but I just want it hopefully to stop the rust. And you're going to see a little bit of it because we're going to mount it in a different way than they had it mounted, I'm sure, back whenever this was in a house. So, and I already see I got some on here, so I'm going to have to sand that off before we shoot it again or do the epoxy for the main part. But let's give this 10-15 minutes, let it dry, and let's do another coat and call it good. All right, gave it about 15 minutes. We're going to hit it with the final coat here. I'm going to try not to get as much paint as I did in there this time. All right, I think that's good enough for government work. For an old Army warrant officer, that's perfectly fine. We're supposed to be attention to detail guys, the warrants, but I wasn't very good. But a little sanding will take all that off. I got to hit it with, I just read the epoxy instructions, so it says hit it with like a 200 grit sandpaper, which is pretty aggressive to me. I don't know if I'll go that, but we'll see. So, but that'll take off that paint. We'll flip it over. I'm going to go buy the rollers. It's a roll-on kit. The wind's blowing my camera. So we'll go ahead and buy the rollers. I'll go in town, grab a bite to eat, and grab that stuff, come back, and then I think it's like an hour between coats. There's a part A and part B. So there's a primer and then there's a final coat. So we'll roll that on. I got to try and figure out if I can set that up on something so it can drain and drip down on this OSB. I don't want it to stick to the OSB when I roll on that epoxy. So, all right. Well, that was the second step of the final step, I guess, for the bottom. Hopefully that's going to look all right in the shop. Okay, the paint has dried on the bottom of the sink. We may need to touch that up a little bit, but I read the instructions for the epoxy, and it says to take a 200 grit sandpaper and do the whole sink. So I'm gonna do that, rough this up. Okay, so I have primer part A and primer part B. So this kit comes with it comes with a primer coat and then a top coat. So shake this up, I was told in the instructions, and then pour the, that's, looks like white paint. So now I pour one into the other. I thought maybe this part A here would be a different, like clear. Usually it has like an activator and a base part, but I've done some epoxy work, mainly doing desk and stuff, woodworking. It's turned out really nice. So I am used to working with epoxy. Wish I could hold that. I'll just hold that there while I stir it. So the problem is I usually work with deep pour epoxies, and the working time, you have a lot of time because it usually takes anywhere from 72 hours to a week to fully cure. They want the bubbles to escape, but this is fairly quick drying, not drawing. And online I read also with this kit that it's very low VOCs, so you don't smell it. And some of the other kits really do smell, but I can verify that. I can't even smell this. But you definitely want to get both parts mixed together really, really well, because you want everything to bond. So all right, I'll just keep working this, and then we'll pour it in our plastic roller pan, and then we'll be off and running. Pretty liquidy. I thought it might be thicker than what it is, but I'm just gonna I want to put a lot of air bubbles in it for sure, but I just wanted to get all the sides, get all the parts mixed up in there. You don't want to work it too long, but I definitely don't. I don't think there's any harm in working it too long other than it takes up away from your setup time. So, all right. Pour this into our roller pan. Definitely don't want to put it on too thick. Okay, so we got it mixed up, I hope well enough. Now we're gonna start. I cannot spill this. We're gonna start at the top. This goes on a little thicker. It's more of a, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a thicker paint or epoxy. Okay, let's take you out of here, show you what we got. So there's a little white back there, but that's not going to show. It's going to be on the wall. Let's see if I'm missing any in here. Yeah, I could use a little more there. Well, from where it started, it's amazing. I'm going to do a few more touch-ups, then I'm going to let it dry, and then we'll take it inside once it dries.